What's good, my people? I took long enough to make this video because I wanted to be as thorough as I could with my research. I also wanted my setup, everything to be perfect because this is a really important prediction video for me. I think that this is gonna be like my first 100% pick rate card. I'm very hopeful on this because I've done a lot of research. So if you guys would, let's start by taking a huge rip. I know this is gonna be a fucking crazy card. Let's go, Towley. Bless us. Fuck, my lighter's broke. Let's go. First fight on the card, we got Davison Figueiredo going up against Cody Garbrandt, Cody Nolov. We have Davison at 36 years old, clearly the older fighter. Cody is 4 years younger than him. This being Cody, is 5'8", Figgy is 5'5", and they're coming in with Figgy being 2-2-1, 2 wins, 2 losses, 1 no contest, and Cody Garbrandt is coming in with 3 wins and 2 losses. Now, important things to consider about this fight. Cody Garbrandt's last real good win against a legit opponent was against Dominic Cruz. That fight happened in 2016. After that, he's beaten Rafael Sansao, who was like 39, Brian Kelleher, who was 37, and Trevin Jones, who was 35. So we can see a bit of a pattern here. Whenever Cody's fighting like guys his age or younger, he's getting starched, he's getting finished in the first round, he gets into these wild exchanges and gets knocked out. So it's important to see Figueiredo is 36. He is the older fighter, but he's not looking like a Sansao was looking or Kelleher was looking. Trevin Jones is a fucking disgrace, so we're not even gonna talk about him anymore. So I personally feel very inclined to say Figueiredo has way more tools. I like his grappling, I like his stand-up. I think Cody, him being patient and everything, is good for him. But I saw the weigh-ins and face-offs, and dude, Figgy is not small. Like he's 3 inches shorter than Cody, but they look about the same height almost. So I'm feeling very confident in saying that this fight is either gonna go 2 ways. It's gonna be either Cody decision or Figgy is gonna finish this guy. Personally, I put my money on Figgy, and I'm trusting him to win and take this fight. He's either gonna sub or knock out Cody. I know Cody hasn't been sub before, but also I don't think he has faced a grappler the quality of Davison Figueiredo. Moving on to the next fight, we got Bobby King Green going up against Jim A10 Miller. We have the 37-year-old Bobby Green at 5'10" and the 40-year-old Jim Miller at 5'8". Miller, I think, is the oldest fighter on the card, but weirdly enough, he doesn't look as shit as the other old fighters on this card. He looks pretty good. Important thing to consider here, Miller doesn't have a very good quality of opponents he's finished coming into this fight. He faced Alexander Hernandez and lost, which is pretty terrible in my opinion. Like, I didn't get finished, which is important because Hernandez has a lot of power. But I still think personally I have to go with Jim Miller. But this is more on the Bobby side, on the negative Bobby side. I explain myself. Bobby Green 4 months ago got absolutely annihilated by Jalen Turner, who's also fighting on this card. Turner hit him with like 15 or say 20 unanswered strikes on the ground while Bobby was unconscious. And this guy's fighting tomorrow. Nah, man, I don't know how a fucking commission can allow you to fight after getting knocked out so badly. And not only getting knocked out, but getting pounded on the ground after being knocked out and taking plus 10 unanswered shots. That's horrible on the commission side. And Jim Miller is a guy that has power, man. So I am very scared for Bobby Green's health, but I have to say it's a Jim Miller knockout, man. Jim Miller is a durable guy. He has good grappling. He's a guy that's in the fight until the last round. So I'm pretty confident in saying that Miller is going to take Bobby Green out in the first round. We've seen Bobby actually finish Grant Dawson. I think that was around July or September maybe last year. But even though he did that, Grant Dawson is a guy that doesn't have the best chin. Miller has a good chin, so I'm pretty confident. Jim Miller, first round knockout. Next up, we got our first WMMA fight. We got Jessica Andrade. She's 32 years old, which I'm pretty certain is false. I swear to fucking God, it's been like 80 years I've been watching this sport, and it's been 8 years that Jessica Andrade has been 32 years old. This is insane, dude. I'm not even joking. I swear to God, I thought Jessica Andrade was the 36 years old, and Marina Rodriguez was like a 28, 32-year-old fighter. But Marina Rodriguez is actually 36 years old and the taller fighter. And also, I think she's the one that's gonna be taking this W. Jessica Andrade is not a smart fighter. She's very, very dumb as a fighter. Like, I'm really sorry. She's like fun to watch, but she doesn't fight smart. She fights hard. And Marina Rodriguez is primarily a striker, not a brawler. She's longer, she's taller. If Jessica Andrade were a smart person and she was gonna go out there and grapple and submit Marina Rodriguez, I would be sitting here saying this is a mismatch. Jessica Andrade is gonna take her down and stop her first round. But this is the reality in which we live in which Marina Rodriguez is very likely to just pound her head in and knock her out. Rodriguez is grappling weak. We have to take that into consideration. But having lost 9 fights by finish in Jessica Andrade, like whenever you're losing, which is you've lost 12 fights, you've only lost 3 by decision. And you've got finished in all of the other ones. That's scary, especially going up against a finisher that's really not interested in clinching up with her or like going to the ground. I think Marina Rodriguez is gonna be straight on her from the very start of the fight, which is horrible for Andrade because whenever we've seen her go backwards and be pressured by an actual good striker, she crumbles. So it's gonna be Marina Rodriguez for me, and give me a second or third round knockout. And next up, we have a really fun fight. It's Jalen Turner, the Tarantula, versus Renato Money Moicano. Give me my money. And I'm really sorry, I'm a huge, huge Moicano fan, but I think it's Jalen Turner by murder here. Like, we look at the stats. Jalen is 28. He's 6 feet 3. He has a 75.5-inch reach. We have Moicano being 34 years old, and this is pretty fight old. Renato Moicano. He has been hurt. He has been dropped. He has been KO'd. He has been subbed. Like, I'm really scared for Moicano. I think he's the better grappler here, but I don't know how much that's gonna help you against a guy that's like 5 inch taller than you. I really think Marnie can get like 1 or 2 takedowns. The thing is, what can he do with them? Because if Jalen gets back up and he starts swinging at him, I think it's lights out for Marnie. So in this one, I'm gonna give 2 predictions. My bet is Jalen Turner is gonna knock out Moicano, but I also feel like people should be taking into consideration approaching this fight as Renato Moicano finishes by submission or wins a decision. That's a good bet to place on Moicano if you're confident on him. I do not think Moicano is knocking out Jalen Turner. On the other hand, I'm pretty sure if they stand together, Turner's gonna absolutely annihilate Moicano. So that fight is gonna probably bum me out a little bit. But next up, we're gonna pick it right back up with Diego Lopez going up against Super Sodiq Yusuff. This guy has nothing that I could consider super in Sodiq Yusuff. I'm pretty low on this guy. His last good performance was like in 2018 or something like that. And on the other hand, we got Diego Lopez, who's like insane as a fighter. He has not been looking so good at first. Then we had that Movsar Evloev fight, which was insane. Was pretty cool to see like a guy come on short notice and finish the guy that's probably in contention to be like either getting a fight for the #1 contender or he's the #1 contender. But I think this is a clean Lopez like finish. It's Lopez finish only probably. He's likely to get a decision if it goes there, but I think Yusuff doesn't have the chin or the grappling defense to contest here. So I'm not gonna go too deep on this. I think Lopez completely as a fighter is so much better heart, better grappling, better chin, better striking. Like, of course, if we have any ounce of logic left on this, Lopez by finish. Next up, I think, yeah, it's the second WMMA fight. It's Kayla Harrison versus Holly Holm. Am I alone here, or like Kayla Harrison looked like shorter than Holly? I don't know if Holly was wearing like heels or something when they faced off, but Holly looked huge. Like, I was surprised. I thought Kayla was gonna like tower over her, but it seems like they're the same height. Problem here is Holly Holm is 42 years old. Like, I was a huge Holly fight. I don't want to accuse anybody of anything, so I'm just gonna say allegedly. I believe Holly Holm is on the juice. She looks way too crazy physically for a 42-year-old person, not even like man or woman, whatever. No, she looks way too good for a 40-year-old person at her age. And problem is, I don't think she's the same fighter that knocked Ronda out. If she was, then this would be like holy knockout for sure. But I think Kayla has like, if Ronda's striking is like a two, Kayla's like a three. So I think that's still a huge difference in this side of the sport. So it's gonna be kind of rough, but I have to personally say Kayla Harrison takes a split decision because it would be very silly to pick Holly and for her to then be ragdoll. Like, she's 9 years older than Kayla, and Kayla is not a young fighter. She has like probably 2 3 years left on her career, and let's be honest, most of Holly Holm's fights are so fucking boring. Like, she just pushes you against the cage. And how does she look like when she's not doing that? We haven't seen that in a while. Like, she's not the same fighter she used to be like years ago. Like, how is she gonna look in this fight? I don't know. I'm not confident in Holly at all. I'm not confident in Kayla either because this is the first time she's going down to 135. But I guess if I have to take my pick, I just have to say Kayla Harrison. Otherwise, I'm gonna look very foolish. Next up, we have Aljamain Funk Master Sterling going up against Calvin Kattar. This is a very, very hard fight to predict. Like, I bet on both sides of this fight because Aljamain Sterling is 34 years old. He's 3 inches shorter than Calvin Kattar, who is 5'11". And important to notice, Kattar is 36. These are not young guys. We have seen Sterling his last match against Sean O'Malley. He didn't look like he didn't even get a chance to go into the fight. I think the first round was like close, competitive, but Sean was like mostly gauging distance. So I didn't see anything out of Aljamain that like can tell me, yeah, he's gonna walk all over like Calvin Kattar, right? Still remember the Corey Sanhagen fight in which Aljamain just like jumped on his back immediately and stopped him. Well, he didn't stop him. He like put him to sleep. But I'm not sure if you're gonna do that to Calvin Kattar. I know he has like one or two BJJ black belts on his camp, so I do not think his submission defense is bad. I know he has a 92% takedown defense, and I personally do not like Aljamain Sterling striking. I don't like it. So I think this is gonna be for me a Calvin Kattar decision. I actually gamble on him to finish Aljamain Sterling. But I also placed a bet on Aljamain Sterling taking this fight by a greasy decision. My thing is, I don't think judges are scoring these fights based on like control time. It's more damage, and I think if there's one side of this fight that's gonna cause any damage, that's for sure Calvin Kattar. There's no way this guy Aljamain Sterling is gonna put any sort of hurt on Aljamain Sterling on fucking what's his face, Calvin Kattar on the feed. So we are gonna move on to wait. Is this the main card? I think it is. Damn. Okay. We're going in for Alexander Rakic versus Yuri Prochazka. I think this is a pretty straightforward fight to predict. Yuri is insane. Rakic is kind of boring. So in a fight like this, I have to favor Rakic. Like, he's probably gonna be able to slow down the fight to his pace, take it slow, pick his shots, like allow Yuri to come in all crazy and probably catch him on the chin. Thing is, Yuri is a guy who has not the most like resilient chin, but he has good recovery. We've seen him recover very, very fast after being like either dropped by Pereira or when he got like KO'd for like a second against fucking Dominic Reyes. And in the Uzdemir fight, I think Uzdemir hurt him as well. So I believe that if Yuri can like tank the first shot, he's very live to knock out Alexander Rakic. But I do have to say, I do not feel too confident in Yuri after the. I know that Pereira is like probably the best striker he's ever gonna face, but at the same time, you have Rakic who's not a slouch in any sense of the word. So I think it's a Rakic KO or a pretty boring fight that ends up going to decision. But I do not believe that Yuri Prochazka is capable of having a boring fight. So we're gonna move on to the fake fight on this card: Bo Nickel versus Cody Brundage. Like, I'm not even gonna waste any of your time. It's Bo Nickel. He has to win. Like, they gave him Cody Brundage because he's a fucking caveman who doesn't know how to fight. So we're gonna move on to an actual fight. Justin Gaethje versus Max Bliss Holloway. I also went both sides with this match because the more we progress on this week, I've been feeling like Gaethje is not going to hurt Max that bad. Like, I can shake like off my head the fact that Charles Oliveira got Chandler running after punching him once in the second round, and Gaethje went 3 rounds with Chandler after that. That's kind of suspicious, no? I do believe so. I don't think that Holloway has been hurt too bad after the Dustin fight or before. We've seen Volkanovski really put the hurt on him and like physically harm him a lot like Dustin did. But I think like 3 fights and you only do that once to the guy, that's like the exception, not the rule. And I'm feeling confident in Max being so much younger and carrying more muscle. Have you seen any pictures of Holloway? He's looking like so ripped. I do believe that it's gonna be either Max finishes Justin in the 4th or 5th, or it's gonna be an early Justin KO. If I have to say it right now, I'm gonna go with Max because whenever I see a fight being too samey, I have one like criteria that makes me pick the other fighter, in which I'm just like thinking it's so well matched with the other one, which I'm probably gonna reveal much later on this channel's history. But yeah, let's go Max. Let's go Max and a late round finish. Next up, we got Weili Zhang versus I always mess up her name. Yan Xiaonan. Yeah, Yan Xiaonan. They're both the same age, about the same height, same reach, and actually their 5-on-in are the same as well. This is very interesting. The thing is, Yan Xiaonan has no grappling at all, and Weili Zhang is a pretty good grappler. So for me, seeing her having come into her last fights with a very, very good and strong grappling game, I do not see why Shang will not do that again. There's, to me, no way that Shang actually can beat Weili in the feet, but I've been proven wrong before in that regard. But I do not believe that Shang is gonna like take so many chances with this girl in the feet, and she's probably gonna like take her down, look for a sub or a ground and pound, and I'm pretty sure she's gonna find either of them. So before the last fight, we're gonna take one last rip. Because this is the ultimate checkpoint as a fight. Alex Poitin Pereira against Jamal Sweet Hills. Sweet Hills, what the fuck am I talking about? Jamal Sweet Dreams Hill. This is very worrying. Hill is coming off a very, 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 very hard injury to recover from. And Pereira did look good against Yuri. But I think Jamal Hill is way more explosive than Yuri in the sense that I think he's way more likely to knock out Pereira, because we like talking about how Prohaska is like unpredictable and he's a good striker, which he is, but if you like see side to side video of Hill and Yuri, you can tell that Hill is a bit faster on the trigger and his punches are a bit more straight, they're coming down the middle. And if you're trying to knock out somebody, I'm always gonna go with the guy that's throwing straight punches instead of looping punches, because they're most likely gonna land first. My thing here is, how well recovered are you? I've seen the videos of him like sparring, and even in his match against Glover, I didn't like him that much. If he was gonna face like Pereira, he didn't look to me like the striker that was gonna beat him. I know a lot of people are super high on this guy, and maybe I'm just like a fucking idiot, but I don't see it, man. I have to go with Pereira here. I know that Pereira's older, he's been knocked out like not so long ago, and Hill is a young guy who's very hungry. But I don't know, man. I have here like all the Hill wins. You have Glover, you have Thiago Santos, you have Johnny Walker, you have Jimmy Crute. Like, I don't know, man. None of these guys like scream I am a good striker to me. So for me it's very easy. Let's go Pereira, Poitin. Please knock this guy out. I'm not a huge fan of Jamal Hill, and hopefully he's gonna like put a comment here if he wins, and it's gonna be like, "Oh, you're such a fucking idiot." Yeah, man, but at least I've never been to fucking jail. So have a nice time, enjoy this event, and yeah, let's hope Pereira knocks Hill out. I don't like the guy. He was all like, "Oh, Pereira, I'm a huge fan of you. Please sign my shirt." And then on the fucking face-off, he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna fuck up this guy and whatever." Nah, man, Hill's a fucking joker. Let's go Poatan. Have fun, guys. Enjoy the card. Drink, but not too much. And let's all make money on this.